You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
This episode will be quick, but at the same time, it will convey the message for the end of 2020. I know the project of 16 episodes about Polish handmade and how it used to be in the olden days and how it is today is over. However, I guess this format of talking to you in English is not yet over. I haven't planned for that, but I said, let's give it a go. It seems that while learning how to bring the handmade magical world into online and popularize beautiful Polish handmade all over the world, I started studying in Online MBA. And on this journey, I met inspiring, incredible female entrepreneurs that keep me standing up. Yeah, I will dare to use this word. They keep me inspired. They help me stand up when I fall down and I feel tired and feel that I've got no energy to continue the podcasting project. As you might assume, it's quite tiring. It consumes lots and lots of energy and time. It totally doesn't pay off if you ask. But still, I kind of feel I cannot quit. And that's because I've got fellow lady entrepreneurs that inspire me on daily basis. That's why I decided I'll share some inspiration with you. No matter if you're a handmade fan or you're a handmade artist starting your business, or maybe you're somewhere farther away in your crafting skills and business, doesn't matter. Because I guess this mindset part about building something on your own is quite necessary. So no matter if you're just a fan or you're an entrepreneur, I think you might use this opportunity to listen to those inspiring episodes with my fellow online MBA friends who took some businesses online. Why am I using those interviews here in the podcast that is actually dedicated to handmade? Well, it seems that I wouldn't be able to convey such a strong message, so much energy that is put in each and every single episode without their inspiration. No matter if that's Lona, who took music online, or Jody, who took movement online, or Elena, who took her stationary classes about public speaking, also online, and another guest that I will introduce later on. No matter the business, what is important, it gave us the thought that also these handmade skills, crafting skills, and handmade businesses could also be taken online. So if you're there listening to this podcast, I'll try to continue with this Friday English format, but this time I'll provide you with something from the other side of this handmade world. Something that is standing in the behind the scenes of our handmade business, inspiring people. If the previous project that was dedicated to some niched down handmade technique, if you found that interesting, I would invite you to a profile on Instagram that is called Handmade from Poland. I obviously is gonna link that down in the show notes. But what is important, you will find many more techniques that could actually inspire you and maybe serve as a gift, a handmade gift for your closest ones, for your loved ones. A gift that would actually support small Polish crafting businesses. But what is more, in this series that's going to be presented every Friday up until the end of 2020, I'm going to be talking about this content that is not only for handmade creators, but also for handmade fans. So I'll provide you with inspiring interviews, and I'll be talking about how to start the business based on handmade. It doesn't matter if you use word business or hobby. What is important to me is the fact that you join me on this mission of popularizing handmade, be it Polish handmade, traditional handmade, or just a way to chill out or relax and take our mind away from this digital world. You join forces with me by listening and sharing this podcast. So I'll invite you to this series of inspiring interviews. And if they will push you to do something more about your crafting skills, taking some of your artifacts out of the drawer, hidden somewhere outside the world to see, and you will kind of take them online, show them, make a picture, share with others, I know it was worth it. So let's give it a go. Let's try out.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Thanks for selling your car to Carvana. Here's your check.
Whoa, when did I get here?
What do you mean?
I swear it was just moments ago that I accepted a great offer from Carvana online. I must have time traveled to the future.
It was just moments ago. We do same-day pickup. Here's your check for that great offer.
It is the future.
It's the present and just the convenience of Carvana. Sorry to blow your mind.
It's all good. Happens all the time.
Sell your car the convenient way to
Carvana.
Pickup times may vary and fees may apply.
Let's meet every Friday up until the end of 2020. And let's see what will happen next. If you want to share your opinion or just tell me something about this podcast, give the idea for next year, I invite you to contact me by mailing me agnieszka@oplotki.pl. I'll link that down in the show notes as well. Why am I asking that? Because I hope that in 2021, this format might continue in a totally different way. Let's join forces in popularizing handmade all over. I hope you're gonna join me in this mission. So see you in next episode, and I invite you to another interview. Okay, so as I promised, today the first from a series of interviews with inspiring entrepreneurs who took their businesses totally online. You might ponder, why is that important for handmade businesses or handmade artists or crafting artists, as you might think? Well, it is. It seems that mindset is an important part of this idea of spreading handmade possibilities online. So I invited Lona to show you that even though we might think that such a work that she does is something that cannot possibly be taken online, she actually does it, and does it with huge success. So that's why I invited her, to maybe inspire you. If you're there, you're a crafting artist, or you just produce handmade and put it to the drawer, you just listen to this episode. Everything is possible, even taking handmade business online. Especially if she could do it, it's totally possible for you. So I'll leave you with the interview and say nothing more as an introduction. But I want to invite you to keep your mind open, because that might change your crafting business. See you in another episode.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lona. And yes,
tell us the story.
Yes, well, I teach piano online, which is something that about a year ago, maybe more like 18 months ago, I would have dismissed. I would have just, as a piano snob, I would have said, please don't even talk to me about that. And I also teach music theory, which is music theory is how music is put together. It's basically what you learn when you learn to become a composer ultimately. And I am both. I'm a composer, I'm a piano player, and I teach both things. And now I teach them online. And I always, I used to teach at university. I have a studio downstairs, but it's closed to the public because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
All right.
And so all of that now, everything I teach now is online, which when I really step back and think about it, really blows my mind. And frankly, if I hadn't been learning how to do this on Samba, I fear we would have gone under. Our ship would have sunk. And so it's been quite a story and quite a journey.
Exactly. I'm really grateful that we started with that, because it seems that there's so many businesses that actually drowned during the pandemic. So many things shifted. And I was, 3 years ago when I started teaching crochet online, people were what a crazy lady, architect doing crochet online. Is she did she fall on her head? And now in the middle of, pandemic hit, that was the mainstream of my income, because everybody was sitting at home, getting crazy with being in lockdown. And it was the same thing for you, that basically this online saved your piano lessons, right?
Absolutely. At the point that the pandemic hit, I had already tested in Samba 2 theory courses. So I decided I would teach music theory, which I thought was a lot easier to do because I'm not teaching an instrument. I could teach more conventionally with lectures and slides. And so I thought it fit a little bit better. But then in March, when we went to online, I scrambled. I already knew from teaching theory what worked and what didn't. But this was quite a crazy ride, because you're talking about the difference between teaching adults online and then some of my really young kids are my youngest was 4. Oh, wow. 4 years old, and are having a lesson every week online. It was nuts. And then from there, I have a lot of 6 and 7-year-olds, so quite young children. And but it turned out to be an opportunity. I won't say, in-person teaching without the social distancing for piano is always best in my view. However, with online, we had a new opportunity to work on new things and work on things in ways we hadn't before. And some things did better in the lesson.
Oh, wow.
Some students were able to strengthen their music reading online because I could see their face. We were both looking at the screen rather than usually a child will be looking at their hands and they're not reading their music. So there were some things that I thought, well, I'm going to really take advantage of this and we're going to I made games and their reading just shot up. And I think the parents saw a couple of things happen. First of all, they saw that they were improving during the pandemic, during lockdown, and they found that their children wanted to practice more, which frankly surprised me as well. I was really shocked. But, students were really keen to practice and wanted their lesson every week. And so I really... it was quite an eye-opening thing to happen.
Well, for kids, I know that my 7-year-old, that would be a sneaky way to have some screen time for her.
Right, exactly.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
I think younger kids, they do relate to in a certain way, don't they? Absolutely.
I just once, saw like a little girl from my friend's daughter, and she came to the window, and I guess she had some more screen time that they wanted to, and she kind of wanted to, make the view bigger on the window. So, that gives us like this thought about the danger.
I love that. That is so funny.
That's super smart. That's like, we need to look like that. That's like an innovation. But what you said, it's like you're bringing the innovation, and it seems that this whole crap that happened made us all, really depressed and down. But on the flip side, there were so many innovations, as you said, like new ways of teaching. And do you think that they will kind of, go into your method of teaching as a usual, or will you come back to this regular?
I can't imagine it will ever go completely back. I mean, when the time comes that we're face to face again, and because of government guidelines, I'm not going face to face this year at all. I've just sent out the letter, and I'm getting lots of yeses coming back. My fear was that here we would lose a lot of students, but thankfully, knock wood. But I think it's because it's worked so well. Yeah. Well, I can't ever imagine it being exactly the same. No, I think that things will stick, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Over time.
Exactly.
But, I have to admit that when I first met you, Agnieszka, I was like, who is this woman teaching crochet online? Because I had already thought it would be great to teach theory online, and I had already signed up for Thinkific, I think, and I started writing a course. It was weird because I was writing a course, but who was I writing it for? It was like writing in a vacuum. I feel confident that I can teach anybody anything in music theory, but I don't know what people want. Yeah. So that was weird. And I've quickly stopped. I started writing the course, and after a couple of weeks, I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. because who is going to buy this course? And so I'd been trying for some time to think about how could I get online, because I could see this was going to be the future. I could see that clearly. And also I just thought it was a good opportunity. And so I was attracted to Sigrun's. I think I did Sigrun's 12 days of Christmas. Of masterclasses. Yeah, over Christmas. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I still have all my notes. It's so funny, loads of notes. And then I met you, and you were talking to me about teaching crochet and teaching crafts. And my perception was always that business would do well online. So if you could be a business coach, or if you could teach people how to run businesses online, then you would do well, but nothing else. Like I couldn't imagine, certainly not crafting, unless you had an Etsy, which, and I thought, well, I don't even know how successful people are with that. So I was really surprised. And I don't know if you remember, but I really was like, oh, I need to talk to you. Like, tell me about, how did this happen for you? Like, this is blowing my mind. And really, it was your example that made me sign up for Samba.
Oh my God.
Because I can tell you, I was not used to making that kind of investment in myself as a business. I didn't necessarily yet think of myself as a business, just as a musician who's trying to, get students and all that. So I think that was the big turnaround moment for me. The first thing was taking the plunge into Samba financially, which was scary, but also seeing that you made it work. And then I met a bunch of other Sambas who were doing something that was other than business. And now we have quite a few musicians, don't we, in Samba? There's language teachers, dancers, artists. And so it's been a real eye-opener. And I think, though, the pandemic has shown us why this is working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you for mentioning Sigrun, because some people might not know. Now she's our mentor. We both study in this online MBA. That's her program. It's called Samba because it's Sigrun's online MBA, and that's basically MBA but about online business, how to take your business online. And what's funny that you mentioned, like, how could you take crocheting online? And for me, it was the other way around. I kind of saw what happens in this handmade business, that people don't get a lot of money for their products, even if they get like limited time that you can create those products. So you won't ever be able to, support your 3 kids family with a husband that likes fancy stuff. And we spend a lot of money on traveling. So I know it's impossible to support this kind of lifestyle that we grew up when I was working as an architect. And on the other side, I couldn't support, being a mom of 3 that basically sees her kids being an architect, right? So for me, that was the only answer to kind of, scale it up. But it only proves the point you mentioned, that it's not necessarily that you have to be a business coach or, teach business to make business. It's like you can take basically everything online and make it a business, but you have to know how to do that. And that's really great that you mentioned this process, that you are not creating the course in a vacuum, but you do it for real. Yeah.
Right. It's funny because even in that situation where I was highly uneducated about what I was doing, I could feel like this isn't working. And it's not because I don't know music theory. I know it backwards and upside down and inside out. It's that I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know who my student is, who is the person sitting in front of me. I don't know. And so that's the other thing that's been amazing. If I reflect on what I thought, even at the point where I signed up for Samba, what I thought I would be doing is very different from what I've ended up doing. And it shocked me when I found out what people want. It surprised me because I was like, really? You want that? That's just this little thing. It's so easy because it's part of my life. So if you're a practicing artist and you live and breathe it, you sometimes overlook how valuable that could be to other people because you take it for granted. It's just part of your life. And so it really is a surprise, but you learn how to do all this. You learn how to find out, and this will be the key to any success that anybody has. And
it feels so kind of weird because we're so used to, hard work, and suddenly this online gives you opportunity to just like open up this little, shelf out of your like multiple shelves in your brain, and you just take out just this little part and suddenly money flows out of sharing this knowledge. It's like against all our rules that we know, right? Sharing, like giving out what you know, like, sometimes even for free because you want to get this visibility online, like works backwards because it attracts more and more clients. And it's like paradoxically, and it makes more fun with all the business, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah.
I know that at the beginning when we met, we actually started talking about this Polish group in Samba, because in Samba there's this international community because the whole program is in English, but then we have those language groups, and obviously I was having this ambition to have the Polish group running, and we made it happen. And obviously I approached Lona because she has this Polish sounding name. There was so much fun about that, because it turns out you also have Polish roots, but it's, but those are only roots. And it turned out that in this Polish community, we have our common mastermind. So there is this time and space to discuss the ideas, even though, you teach music or music theory. I'm from the different world, like this handmade world. And we've got language teachers, we've got coaches, and we've got even a specialist of design thinking. Everybody's doing something totally different, but this masterminding gives us this insight into our businesses that we would never, have on the regular basis.
That's right. Yeah. I have to say the Polish group is the group to be in. I mean, it's just so happening in there. The smartest ladies in Samba are in the Polish group. I'm not just talking about me. I'm really talking about...
we've got this pressure, we invested so much because a dollar is, Polish zloty is $0.25 of a dollar. So we want to squeeze everything out of this program.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. But I mean, I have Polish heritage. So I'm an American living in the UK is part of my story, but my father's family, we're Polish, so I have the Polish last name, it's true. And but I don't speak Polish, sadly, but that hasn't been a barrier to being in the Polish group, so everyone is happy to speak English when I'm there. And the mastermind group, that group is really happening. I think that were it not for the Polish group in the first 7 months of Samba, I would have really been lost.
It's easy.
So these little masterminds, they're really key. The little masterminds are key for sure. They're very, very useful. Yeah,
because it's easy to, go into the program and have this huge library with content and take in this knowledge and take it in and do nothing. And finally, it's all about doing the thing, like implementing that and creating this business. Yeah, it's really fun. I'm really grateful that we could talk. I have this, inner deep feeling that it's something that I owe to my fellow, entrepreneur friends that kind of take a look at my Facebook profile, because I kind of feel that during this whole crap that happened, there were more and more those, pseudo authorities that would like to teach you how to take your business online. And when I saw this, massive wave of disappointment, people starting online and being totally, no, it's not working for me, I said, I have to do something about it. And I said, sharing this story, like how we met and what we're doing, like something totally niched down, but it's, working and bringing money and supporting our goals. That kind of feels, now I'm bringing it back, what I was given, right? And did it change something for you? Like this everyday life and doing the business online, did it change for good, or did it give you some insights?
Oh, very much. So, yes, actually for me, it had a profound effect, which really was completely unexpected, which is that at the end of the year, so I'm a pianist and I'm also a trained composer, and in my composition, in my composing life, my creative life, it's been hard for me. It's not so much a writer's block thing as much as it is being so busy outside of not finding enough time for creativity, not finding space for creativity, because I'm always out teaching and it's almost like I'm always giving out. And then when I'm done, I come home, my energy is sapped. I just blah, I do nothing. And that's on me. I have to figure that out. But Samba kind of helped me to do that. So much so that by the end of the year, I was starting to hear my music again, like in my head. Like it literally happened on the train one day. And I remember being so excited. Like we were on a trip to London at Christmas time. We were going to go and have fun. And I was like, no, I just want to work. I have to go get some headphones and I have to work because it's all coming out here. And I really attribute that to Samba because of the way that I was working. I was teaching theory again, for one thing. I mean, I should just say really quickly, I'm trained to teach theory at the university level and used to do that. But the college that I used to teach at shut down nearby. And my other college that I was teaching at.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
Also, that program is dying, I'm afraid. And so higher education is in a really bad place at the minute. So I hadn't done that. I'd just been doing the piano teaching business for I can't remember, maybe four years when I joined Samba, 4 or 5 years of just teaching piano. And I love teaching piano. I feel very grateful, but it took a lot of energy out of me and it didn't allow a lot of time for creativity. And so because I was now teaching theory again, which again, it's about the architecture of music is theory. So you're getting into the big issues of how music works. Why does it work? How does it work? And that was leading to a certain engagement for me, and it totally blew open my creativity. And I was so excited. I can't tell you. And that was in December. And I think because with online, you manage your own energy in a very different way. You know, and now that I don't go to schools at all to teach piano at the moment, I'm totally self-sufficient. So it's kind of hard to explain, but yes, it changes. I almost have more mastery over my energy and over how my day goes. And that is allowing for the space to have the creativity, to have that creative relationship going again. Just my own inner life, really, which
exactly.
I wasn't thinking about that when I joined Samba. I was thinking, I'd like to have a business, and
yeah, but
I was thinking more
entrepreneurial. What you're sharing, it's like we were never taught at school, at university, at maybe some bunch of things that we do to keep ourselves like at the level of a professional. Yeah. We're never taught that it's so important to work on our mindset, our energy, our, this craving for sharing knowledge, especially as a teacher. Nobody tells us how important it is to manage our own well-being, right? And suddenly you get to a program where you've got a whole bunch of people telling you how important your time is, how you should value your values, how you should repel people who are, this energy sucking, machines that they either pay a lot or you don't work with them. Yes! It's costing you so much, and you can say no to a client because you can attract those that you love working with, and you feel energized by work.
I remember it was your advice, Agnieszka. I had this person wanting to work with me, and I was like, no, I've worked with this person before. And you said, because he wanted to work in person because he lived nearby and he knew that I lived nearby. And I was saying, I can't charge him that much. And you're like, yes, you should double that because he wants to work in person with you. And I remember just cracking up because actually you're right. Because for example, our mentor is teaching us to be like her, right, in a sense. So if you asked Sigrun for a day of her time, you'd be paying. There's no question, right? Yeah. So we're on our road to transformation to that. And it's exactly what you say. It's to do with mindset and the way that we think of ourselves in the world and the way that we place ourselves in the world. And I do think that if you're always coming, let's say, from a scarcity mindset, that means you're always going to be putting yourself in a position to not give back to yourself, to not have that energy, because you're always chasing, right? You're chasing after this thing because you feel the scarcity thing. And that's not, so to say, you imagine, I mean, my mother is a good example. Like if she knew that I repelled someone on purpose, that she'd be horrified. She'd be like, what are you doing? But she wouldn't understand necessarily because she never went through a process where she was taught these things. So yes, I think in a way, the learning by doing actually leads you to these deeper intangible things that are so valuable that, they don't even have a price on them. They're that valuable.
Exactly.
Right?
And it just
like my creative life.
That your creativity won't come out of tiredness. And it's like you want business, not busyness, right? You just want this appearances of having business. You just want to earn money, to have like a moment for yourself, to relax sometimes. Exactly. And it's funny because it's important what you said, that there's with the music theory in Poland, it's also like musicians, they don't get a lot of money unless they're, stars or like celebrities, then they get a lot of money, but they're not taken care of with their, retirement or something like that. It's really like a really bad situation. And I kind of feel that for artists, it's really close to that, because it's obviously, the more popular, the more star, artist you are, the more you earn. But the reality is that majority of handmade artists, they don't earn as much as they want, even not mention want, not enough to, support their lives. And I kind of saw that this online thing could be the solution, like scalable products or some kind of, patterns that you can sell apart from your handmade things. And when I started that, everybody looked at me like a crazy woman, especially when we dive into deep in Samba. There's this positive energy around everything. Obviously, we worry if we manage to earn money. The whole program costs so much that you've got this pressure to pay it off or something like that. But there's this whole bunch of positivity. And I some kind of feel that it attracts those people who are positive, that they want to buy things from you, not only because of the things that you have on sale, but just they buy your energy. They want to have it fun, have it nice. And it seems like nowadays it works this way.
That's right. That is really the case. I had a student email me. It was such a strange email. So we had finished a 3-month course bundle, or no, it was longer than that. Sorry, about 5 months that we had together working on music theory. And she was so sad that it was ending. And she said, I'm addicted to you. And I read that because I remember the conversations we were having in Mastermind. Because you think to yourself, well, look, anybody could look up music theory on YouTube. And it's true. There are many videos just with that information for free. But the thing is, they don't have my framework. They don't say it the way I say it. They don't have they probably don't even have the same vision that I do of what music theory is and what it means to teach it. And that really communicates. And people will pay for that. And I think that's another way of understanding what value it is that you have to offer the world. What specific value, not just what do you teach, but what are you bringing to people? And oftentimes it's much deeper than the thing that's on the surface.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I think that in the community, we very much talk about that. And I think you're right. The community aspect is so important because of having a network of individuals who understand this and also understand and are doing it with you, what it's like to go through the process of finding all of that out. And I think without those people standing next to me and without me next to them, I'm not sure it would happen a lot of times. So that's another sort of intangible in a sense, but you could just chalk it up to community. But
exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly. It seems so unreal when you think of it, think that okay, I could sell my stuff online or do this and that, and then suddenly when you tell about it, like have somebody to share your craziest ideas, like would that shit work? Oh no, I don't think so. Like, and you suddenly have people like chipping in ideas that could kind of like put those puzzle all together, and suddenly you have this picture that that could actually work. And it's like you're generating those innovations like constantly, and then there's just matter of parking some ideas for later, not to get crazy. but it's true what you're saying. Is at that point it's easy to understand why we're just like smiling all the time. There's obviously, we have those concerns, like our competition is looking at us, whether it's going to, be stealing of our, ideas and things like that. But as you said, if somebody buys us for our energy, for who we are and how we convey the content, just like with crocheting, you've got a bunch of YouTube videos to, learn that. But when people are buying what you are selling because the way you sell it, that's a whole different story. And suddenly the competition, like you can actually cooperate with competition, right? Because you're growing so much that sometimes you need some hand to handle your business, right?
Yeah. And it's a good sign if there's competition, because if you're putting something out there and there's no one else doing it, that's actually a bad sign, isn't it? That maybe that's not anything anyone wants.
Exactly.
So it can be a little bit tricky with competition. It's funny about that, because at the minute I'm running a course and at least half of the participants are piano teachers like me. And so I guess in a sense they're like competition, but actually they want my resources. They keep bugging me. The course isn't even done yet. Oh, I would pay for those. Would you give those to me? And I'm like, wait, I'm just in the middle of making this course. Like, yes, but later. I kept saying, we're going to have to wait until after the course is over because we're not done yet. So, actually, I think that, what I've learned a lot about, which I didn't know anything about because I'm not a business person by nature, I'm a musician. But what I learned was what value is and what it means to exchange money for value, because I think money is such an issue for people, and me included, and I haven't got everything figured out, but I can see that I've come a very long way in terms of like charging enough. I still think I don't charge enough, but I'm better than I was. And I think this is the kind of thing, like I said, it's those deep intangibles that you can't always talk about so easily, but that get touched by this process. And that's the thing. You can read everything in the world about online business, but unless you're in an environment that is encouraging you to take action, you must learn it by doing it. So you got to learn to be okay with not being perfect the first time around, of making a mistake or whatever. And that's another thing that I've really learned, to become a massive action taker. Yeah. Exactly. And so that's what's different about Samba from, say, just a course where you study, let's say. Yeah. It's a very active course.
I'm really curious about, also this, first time we met. That's really interesting for me, because now I'm, after I joined Samba 3 years ago, and then I bought Samba once again to stay there, and then once again to stand there. And then I upgraded to a program that is even more intensive, because obviously when you grow, you have different challenges like building your team or things like that. I always come back to those moments when I just started with this affiliate, being affiliate, ambassador for the program, because I kind of had this impression that I was given so much, it was so mind-blowing, so eye-opening, that I want to kind of pass it on. It was this moment when somebody gave me this hand and took me upwards. Now it's my duty to take somebody with me, give it back, pass it on. Yeah. And I remember when I started with this affiliate, ambassador as a Samba, I was so eager that I kind of approached everybody, I will tell you about this program. It's just changed my mind, and I created my whole business on crocheting. And I remember when we were talking, only now I understand how people on the other side must have felt what a crazy lady. What is she selling actually, right? What does she want from me? Yeah, I'm really curious about your experience, because that might actually, help those people that I sometimes approach. So sorry if I approached you too quickly. So
I think that I was asked, I think that I heard you talking about your crochet, and that's when I was like, what? Because, I had tried other things and I'd been around, and so I was sort of figuring out, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then I think you told your story about the crocheting, and then my eyes were like glued to the screen, like, who is that? And I think I asked you some questions, and then I think you might have sent me a friend request, and because I didn't recognize your name, and it just always depends on what mood I'm in. I'll either say yes or no, and I was in a no mood, and I just like no, and and then I think we had some more conversation. I was like, oh wait, and I sent you a message saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that was you that sent me a friend request. Yeah, I remember that. No, but I appreciate that. I didn't find it offensive or anything like that, because I think I was so interested in your story, because it really took me by surprise. It really did.
Yeah, that's really precious, because I sometimes, I have this, we are used to having this positive energy in the program. So it's like everybody's so kind and like so supportive. If you have a bad day, there's always somebody to like push you in the butt and tell you, you don't cry, you just do it, right? And you go, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You're so used to this positive vibe that sometimes when we go through affiliate launch and I kind of tell somebody that I kind of feel that, this program would like save your ass, that you would make gazillions out of, online business with the things and I kind of approach this person and tell them like, there's this free webinar or something going on, just go and check it out. And people are just like, what the hell? Somebody's like helping me out of the blue? That doesn't happen in my life. She wants to
that doesn't happen. I know, it's true.
Yeah, but I think really helped me with the mindset. It's like I don't have to be so damn afraid of approaching people and like trying to give them a hint that something's nice going on. And I know that Stigma is going to be creating a whole bunch of free stuff just to present her skills, so it's always easy. Yes. Yeah, I don't want to keep you here for too long, but I'm just like want to finish up with just one question, like about those masterminds, because I figured like for me, masterminds are like most important part of the program now, especially in the beginning, obviously the knowledge, the, step by step leading you by the hand and things like that. But now I kind of feel that I will, prolong being in this program forever for those masterminds, for being in this community. And now when I have people like jumping to the program through me, like as an affiliate, it's always that I add on this extra masterminding together. And I just wanted to have your take on those masterminds. Did you like approach like idea of masterminds? Because I get this impression that there are more and more people talking about masterminding, and they somehow kind of understand this idea differently that we do in Samba. Mm-hmm. Did you come across that? What's like kind of masterminding for you? What does it mean, like masterminding for you?
I didn't know what it meant going into it, but I would imagine. Well, the way I can speak to how it works in the program, and masterminding, I think, is really an opportunity for you to come in if something's on your mind or something's happening that week in your business, that you can talk about it and get the impression of others in the group, ideas or feedback or advice even, and so it's kind of like putting heads together. So it's not just you figuring it out, it's other people as well, and they're on different points along the timeline, aren't they? Yeah. So that can be useful as well, especially to a brand new person. I remember that being very helpful. Definitely. I took paid notes, even if somebody else came in with a problem and I didn't even know what they were talking about. Not kidding. Like I'd be like, what's an email list? I'll just write it down. One day I'll know, So I took the first few, I was just scribbling the whole time. I remember really taking loads of notes, because talking through different kinks that come up, different knots, little problems, that kind of thing, it can be really revealing. And it sometimes can be as simple as someone goes, well, why don't you just do this? And then the other person's like, oh God, I never even thought of that, So it is just a way of having a collective, like a collective brainstorm. That's sort of how I experience it.
Yeah, exactly, and it gives so much value. Yeah, Lona, I just want to, you know, ask you what's happening in your business now. And like, I want to just at least, you know, have my gratitude and, like, I don't know, promote what you're selling now or something. I believe that people are watching it, so they are curious.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, my business has taken a bit of a shape. So I am right now building my entry level of my business, I would call it. And I'm going to be offering sort of like a 12-week program where you're working on your musicianship. So no matter what instrument you play, we will be working on what I would call applied theory. So understanding chords and rhythms, you know, stuff like that, but not in an abstract way, not in some kind of intellectual way. It's more like playing. So you know, I'm dripping like chord exercises and rhythm exercises that people do as a daily practice.
Oh, wow.
So I'm giving practice advice. Basically, I'm structuring everyone's practice around concepts. So I do give a theory lesson at the beginning of the week, but it's light. It's not, as I say, it's not like a deep dive, and you're meant to apply that knowledge right away so that you can be a good sight reader of music, so that you can hear music in your head without having to play it first, so that you can write down any music that you might hear, your own creative music that you hear in your head. What else? So that you can even learn to transpose music at sight. And so at the minute, I'm running a course that I will marry with another. So these are all free courses to begin with, because that's the great thing, is that you do get an opportunity to test. And it sounds crazy, but how excited am I to be offering a free course? That sounds nuts. That's true. But it works. Believe me, it works really well, in fact, because you find out what works and what doesn't. And you also attract clients. And you also figure out, who do I work well with and who do I not serve well? Because if you waste your time on people that you just can't help for whatever reason, then you're wasting time and money and energy. So it's a very good process to go through. And in May, that's right, in May I did a free workshop about sight singing, which is somebody puts a piece of music in front of you and you can just sing it without playing your instrument. And now I'm doing a course on sight reading, which is everything I just described. And I'm going to put those two things together, and they're going to be like my little, I guess you could call it almost like an academy, where you get a daily thing to practice in rhythm, a daily chord thing to practice, a daily piece to sight read. So it's very much, I have to think about what I might call that. And then I also have my what I call my deep dive courses, and these are for people who want to go into theory in some depth. And I've got 3 of those bundled together. It's right now to help people pass their theory exams in the UK, but I'm going to broaden that out in the coming year. So that's how everything has taken shape. And I would have never predicted that a year ago. You know, I would have never thought. And then but what did it? This is interesting, is the fact that I had the piano school on skills together to do this sight reading class, and it was hugely popular. People were really into it. So, and I would have never predicted that. So, yeah, you learn what best to do by doing. Yeah. You learn by doing. But
that's totally
anyway,
crazy. I kind of feel that, you know, even your competition watching you, they are probably thinking, I'm going to get hired soon.
Yes, right. Maybe I might need to start building a team soon, because it is getting to be a lot. So
I hope that the video will help, like, some VA that is feeling that, I want to work with a person with that kind of vibe, that she's going to approach you, or he's going to approach you, like, for your energy, because it's contagious. I just can imagine, you know, those people that are studying at your, you know, future academy or in your courses now. I believe that this pleasure of taking knowledge out of you, like, with this energy, with this fun, with this, you know, regular approach, not like, you know, academia, you know, this approach. It's like turning down all those obstacles to the process of acquiring new skills, right?
Yeah. Yes, very much. You know what? I really believe in that, because coming up through, you know, I have a PhD and I got it at an Ivy League school. It was very serious, let me tell you. So I remember how I felt. I mean, I was a working class kid. I didn't have money. I didn't come from money. I went to a school where everyone had money, and it was a lot of men. There's nothing wrong with men. I love men, so don't get me wrong. However, as a woman who was working class, there were definitely barriers, and you either were brave enough to just push right through them. Oh, yes. You were brave enough to push through the barriers or you weren't, and I was. And so in a way, it's not a policy. I'm not conscious about it, but in the back of my mind, I am reaching out to those people who feel, for one reason or another, the barrier. I think especially in classical music, people feel barriers, and that is not my style. There are no barriers. So yes, it very much is the way that I think this is why people are attracted to my teaching, actually. When I get feedback, I think people feel like it's within their reach. Yeah. So that's a very important thing that they feel that, because it is in their reach.
Yeah,
anybody can have it.
It's so fun that this online thing kind of even helps with tearing those barriers down. It's
very much.
You can have your your bookshelf in the background, or like I have my kid like running around, and nobody cares if I'm like certified architect. It's like the way you speak, the way you talk to people. It's important. It's like here and now is important, not everything that you have behind in the future for you. That's really important. Right. That's really beautiful message to finish with, like having this thought that everybody can do it, and it's not so undoable, but it's just that you have to have tools to take it online, and not to get discouraged by people who try to teach how to make business online when their only business is teaching business without doing business.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. Warn people that it's really important to look up at your mentor and see the values behind the person, like the story behind the person. And that's what really beautiful about this online business, that you can, allow yourself to have this whole broad selection of people you want to work with. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, Lona, for today. I hope that I didn't, work you out too much, but I'm really grateful for this talk.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I met you, because I think if I hadn't have met you, Agnieszka, I'm not sure I would have taken the leap. So
thank you so much. Likewise. It's like constant inspiration. And I'm so glad that we already met in, this upgrade program. So it shows that together, when we stick together and help each other, it's always easier to, jump into this next level. So precious. Thank you so much.
Thank you.